Hill sponsors Martin vs Joshua on Sky Sports Box Office.
This is KUGAN CASSIUS for Eiffel TV in association with Mackey's Gym. We're at York Hall here for the public workouts ahead of this Saturday's fights at the O2. With me, I'm joined by the St George Groves. How are you, George?
I'm good, thank you.
Yeah?
Yeah, real good.
Keep looking down and Shane's wrapping his hands, that's why. Interesting fight. It's been labelled as between you and the undefeated David BROPHY. Decision to take this fight because
We struggling for opponents, to be honest. Like I knew that I'll be boxing around this point, and I think you know, this fight. I think I'm not sure who sort of chose BROPHY in the end, because you know, it's on a matchroom show, so to a certain degree I think they sort of say and dictate. But I think it's a great fight, you know, great fight for me against, you know, undefeated, you know, British prospect. So I'm really happy with it.
How much of BROPHY had you seen prior to that, or have you seen since?
I hadn't seen any prior to it. Since, you know, done a bit of homework. There's more footage of like interviews and than actual fights. I've seen a couple of his fights, a couple of highlights. Seems like a really nice guy. Speaks well. Passionate about his boxing. He's been sparring with Gallagher's gym, so he's probably been sparring with Smith brothers and, you know, a few other guys. And he's keen, he's hungry, he's up for it, and he sees this as his chance to move on to a bigger stage, and I'm pretty sure he's looking to take full advantage of it. So I'm expecting the best BROPHY there is. Looking forward to an interesting fight.
Obviously, before the fight with BROPHY was announced, there was obviously a lot of talk about a potential fight between you and Martin Murray for the summer. Is that on your agenda still for this summer?
Yeah, I'd love to fight. You know, in high-profile, bigger fights. You know, I think that certainly would be a bigger, high-profile fight. Whether it happens now or not, you know, it seemed like both parties were interested in January. I thought it would happen, you know, this weekend, to be honest. And then I'm not sure where things stalled. Now he's got a fight May 7th, so it's up to making the timeline work, you know, because I want to be busy. So you know, if this fight goes to plans, I'm sure it will. April 9th, looking to be out again real soon, and not here to hang around. Trying to force our way back into a situation where either we're mandatory or we have a straight shot at a world title. So if the Murray fight can produce that, then certainly it's well worth my while. Otherwise, you know, to say it might be a fight and then Murray or something along those lines. So yeah, it's just a fight I'd love to have.
Obviously, your ultimate goal is to secure yourself another world title shot. What's your best route of doing that, do you believe? Do you believe it is going down the WBC route again?
WBC, yeah, I mean, Smith boxed weekend, boxed really well. You know, he's now #1 contender. The only way to sort of jump in front of him would be to fight him. Eddie Hearn, you know, in the ring straight after said, you know, they're happy for him to not fight again now until January or wherever. So I can't see him giving up that right or risking that right, you know, for a WBC shot, putting him against me. Badou Jack also, you know, could be fighting DeGALE after. So I don't think there's any particular route that's in front of any other. We got Arthur Abraham defending his WBO this weekend. That's interesting, and the WBA, very complicated, but there's possibilities there, and fighting for the WBA International this weekend, so that should help with the rankings there as well. So pretty sure something will show its face. They always do, and when they do, fit and healthy, on weight, ready to go. So we see what can be done.
Just going back to the action from the weekend in Liverpool, obviously Mohoumadi had never been stopped, and Callum Smith took him out in a round. First of all, were you impressed, and did you learn anything more about Callum Smith that you didn't already know before?
You wouldn't say you'd learn anything about him that you didn't know before, because it was over so quickly. Obviously, as a fighter, that's the perfect fight, isn't it? The guy comes in, you hit him with one big shot, and then you finish him off after. Mohoumadi, from the bits I've seen him, from where I remember when he boxed DeGALE, he was strong, but he was very reckless as well, and he started recklessly, and Smith caught him real early on with a solid left hook. He hooks well on the front foot or the back foot, and then Mohoumadi never really recovered after that, and he stopped him. So real good performance. What you would ask for from your fighter. I wouldn't say I learned anything else about him, because I've seen him stop people in the first round before. But you look to fights where he's gone a few rounds, and you know a little bit more about him.
Do you believe his performance possibly sent a message to other super middleweights that want to fight him, or including yourself?
Yeah, well, I'm used to coming under a lot of stick. I'm under a lot of stick all the time. So I have to almost try and be a little bit sensitive with the way I answer this question, because if I say, yeah, I want to box Callum Smith, that's me calling him out, which I don't need to call anyone out. If I say, no, I don't want to fight him, I'm scared of him, I'd happily box Callum Smith. I'm very confident of beating him and beating him well. Certainly he's dangerous, but all fighters at that level are dangerous.
There's obviously a difference between you being asked a question about a fighter, i.e. Callum Smith, making a comment about that, than you actually physically going out and calling him out. There is somewhat of a difference. If you're asked a question, you're entitled to answer it.
So people will struggle to make that difference.
Yeah.
And just from whoever's in charge of the Sky tweet section, I think you keep posting the same article with different headlines asking challenged again, so I'm not running around trying to hijack some glory off of Callum Smith's good win at the weekend. What would I learn from that fight is, don't go bombing him with your chin in the air against him in the first round, because he starts sharp, and if he hits you, he can hurt you, But as I say, I've seen him in other fights where you know a little bit more about him. So if he'd systematically broke this guy down like an Andre Ward does, or over 8 rounds and then stopped him, then there's more to assess, and then sometimes there's more to be scared of, or more to think about, or more to pay attention to. But the win over Rocky Fielding, the win over Mohoumadi, he hit him early, caught him early, and finished him. So, don't go roaming in with your chin high in the first 30 seconds, and you'll do better than those two chaps.
Just so I know how to title this video, you haven't physically called Callum Smith out, but if the fight presents itself, you're open to it.
Oh, 100%. As I say, Eddie said he can sit on his hands, till January. We're in the shot, and we're not going to risk that for anything. Well, he said something along those lines, and it just means that he doesn't want him to have then he sort of half backtracked and, well, maybe we can get him out. But we said we're not going to get him out in a risky fight, and fighting me is definitely a risky fight. I certainly wouldn't be favouring now going into it, because I'm the away fighter always, in every sense. But I would 100% take that shot, take that fight if it led to a world title fight. A rematch with Badou Jack, fantastic. That'd be ideal for me. I think I've seen enough of Smith to know how to handle him, how to beat him well. And I would look forward to the chance, if it presented itself. But at the same time, I need to chase it. I'm beyond that point,
Just quickly, obviously April the 30th is quite a pinnacle date for Callum Smith, and it sort of leads into this whole WBC situation which will present itself later on in the year. Do you expect James DeGALE to come through Medina and expect Badou to come through Boutte?
Yeah, I do. I think Boutte's best days are past him. I don't know too much about DeGale's opponent, but from what I've heard, he's had a few losses and he's not the greatest of opposition. He's beat better. So I expect both of them to come through. And, you don't know if it's signed off, but it sounds like it's good is, and them two will be in some sort of unification, as far as I'm aware. So yeah.
Okay. Just finally, ever been a conversation between you and obviously Callum about the potential Abraham fight, which it seems obviously a very simple fight to make, being with the same promoter, but that a possible option for you as well?
I think he's in a risky fight at the weekend.
Yeah.
He's away from home. He certainly seems like a chap who would box well at home. He's had enough fights now to know his routine, and this won't be his routine. He's boxing with jet lag in Vegas. It's tough boxing in Vegas. So I hope he comes through it, because yeah, you're right, it will be an easy fight to make, and maybe a card that I'm keeping up my sleeve. I'm going to put some pressure on Callum at some point, but
Ramirez is going to.
But Ramirez, and even if Ramirez beats him, then WBO will say you can't rule it out. Callum's got a great relationship with those guys, and I think they've got a mandatory due. So don't know. We'll see.
All right. Well, before any of that, David Brophy stands in your way this Saturday night at the O2. So best of luck, and I'm sure we'll catch up with you in the week.
Yeah, there's enough times to it. Yeah.
Definitely. Thanks a lot, George Groves.
Cool.
William Hill sponsors Martin vs Joshua on Sky Sports Box Office.